The courtroom is still. Everyone's eyes are fixed on one man. Kody Brown, the father whose formerly expansive family was paraded around on national television. Now, rather than the hot glare of TLC cameras, he stands before the cold light of fluorescent lights hanging above the bench. His hair is tied back, his fists balled tightly. The judge tilts forward, poised to read the decision that will alter Kody's life forever. And just when the tension becomes too much, Kody Brown stands up from her chair, her voice shaking but cutting, and delivers a bombshell betrayal nobody could ever have predicted. This is the tale of the explosive trial that destroyed the sister wives' family in ways nobody could have foreseen. And believe me, by the end, you won't see Kody the same again. But here's the question I'd have you consider while you're watching. Did Kody deserve it? Or was he a man trapped by the vengeance of his own family? Let's go in. Section 1 opens with a storm building. Outside the courthouse, reporters converge like vultures, microphones shoved forward, cameras popping, headlines shout betrayal, money and secrets too big to keep hidden. Within, the air is no quieter. Christine sits with a quiet rage in her eyes. Meri gazes at the ground. Janelle appears conflicted but determined. And Robyn holds tissues in her hands, wordlessly shaking her head as though reality itself is dissolving. The Elif requests order. Yet, Christine's attorney's eyes, the Elif right of the oven. Tension continues to build. Christine leans forward and whispers. To her attorney speaking, barely louder than a attorney's whisper he lied to all, Taruf. And today, the world is finally going to see. Kody stares at her, his face clenched, his lips so tightly compressed that they've gone white. He was the leader for so many years, the man who controlled 4 wives and almost 2 decades of children. Now his control is escaping him like sand through his fingers. And just like that, we're reminded power doesn't crumble in one swift blow. It shatters piece by piece until the man who once stood tallest finds himself drowning in the ruins. Since the first witness is summoned, the jury sits forward. Christine's lawyer unpicks the tale. It's not only a matter of love betrayal, it's money, land, manipulation, and broken promises. The notorious Coyote Pass property takes center stage, a dream turned nightmare. Christine stands before the court. She stands tall, her voice firm but charged with emotion. For years I believed in Kody. I believed in him with my family, with our children, with our future. But behind closed doors, he was cutting deals. Deals that left us, with nothing. The jury listens to each of her words. Even the judge appears shaken by her fervor. Kody bangs his hand on the defense table, muttering harshly to his attorney. But Christine stands firm. Her eyes flash with the kind of fury that only develops after years of being held quiet. You said I was disposable, Kody, she tells him, her words cracking but unyielding. Today, I'm the one who finally gets a voice. The audience gasps. Even Meri looks up, her eyes brimming. If you believe the drama is already at its peak, wait, because Christine hasn't even gotten to the most horrific betrayal yet. Christine starts to recount the day she left Kody. The tears, the arguments. The day she realized that her marriage wasn't just broken, it had been founded on a lie. She tells the court how finances intended for the family were diverted elsewhere. Vacations, secret accounts, investments stashed away. Robyn covers her mouth, whispering, "That's not true." But Christine continues. Ask him, she says, pointedly at Kody. Ask him what happened to the money. The courtroom is filled with restlessness. The judge raps the gavel for order. And then comes the first twist. Christine holds up a sheaf of papers, bank statements, transfers, evidence. This, she says stiffly, is the betrayal that destroyed it all. The jurors' eyes grow wide. The documents get handed around. Kody violently shakes his head, exclaiming, "This is a lie. You can't trust her." But the louder he screams, the guiltier he appears. What if the man who centered his life around family, religion, and harmony was quietly taking it apart from within the entire time? The air in the room seems to explode. Christine is gasping for breath, her chest rising and falling. Janelle finally breaks her silence in her chair, her voice shaking. I wanted to believe you, Kody. I wanted to believe in us. But you never gave us the truth. Kody slams his hand on the table once more, his face flushed. You think you're all so innocent? You think you didn't betray me too? The jury glares. The judge glares. Even the bailiff shifts uncomfortably, feeling the air in the room heat up. And yet, within this tempest of accusation, no one anticipates Christine's words next will rip open a wound deeper than anyone had conceived. Christine gazes straight at Kody, her voice now steady, almost cold. You didn't betray just us. You betrayed your own children. The whole room gasps. Robyn drops her tissues, her hands shaking. Janelle closes her eyes, a tear rolling down. Meri puts her hand over her mouth. The judge leans forward. Mrs. Brown, tell us. Christine takes a slow breath. The trust funds, the accounts for the children's futures. He tapped them out. Every dollar, spent. The courtroom erupts. Reporters rush about, pens scratching madly, cameras clicking incessantly. Kody stands, yelling, lies, all lies. But Christine's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. You left us with nothing, Kody. And today you'll finally face the consequences. The judge slams the gavel. Order, order in this court. And just like that, Section 1 closes, not with a resolution, but with the firestorm of betrayal blazing hotter than ever. As the gavel echoes and silence returns, all eyes shift back to Kody. His face is pale now, his body trembling with rage. But Christine isn't finished, and the next revelation is about to bring the courtroom to its knees. The gavel slams again, but the chaos refuses to die down. The jury looks rattled, the spectators murmur in disbelief, and the cameras flash like lightning across the courtroom. At the very center of everything, Kody Brown stands shaking, his face contorted with rage and terror. Christine has accused him of raiding the children's trust funds, a claim so vilifying that it promises to overbear his entire case. But what everyone has yet to learn is that the most incendiary testimony remains to come. And here's the reality. When betrayal tears through family lines, it doesn't only wreck marriages, it wrecks full legacy. That's what's going to happen. The judge instructs Christine back to the witness stand. She sits, her hands being steady despite the thudding of her heart. The courtroom hushes, though the air is heavy, as if every intake of breath weighs with expectation. Her lawyer inquires mildly, Christine, when did you first notice the missing money? Christine's gaze freezes on Kody. The day I quit. I believed I was taking with me nothing but honor. Then I realized he had stolen what was the children's college money, savings accounts, all their plans for their futures, vanished. Gasps spread through the gallery. A few of the jurors look at one another, their faces stiffening. Robyn bursts forward, shaking her head. That's not true, she exclaims, her voice ringing out. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't. But Christine holds firm. Robyn, you have no idea what he's capable of. Kody bursts. You're a liar, Christine. You've always been. You're bitter because you quit. Because you couldn't handle commitment. His voice breaks, desperation seeping through each word. The judge thumps the gavel once more. Mr. Brown, control yourself or you'll be held in contempt. There is a moment of frozen silence in the courtroom. Kody slumps back into his chair, his chest laboring, sweat gleaming under the unforgiving lights. If you believe that this was the tipping point, you're mistaken, because the trial is going to pull another wife into the flames. The prosecution subpoenas Janelle Brown. She stands slowly, her face tired but resolute. This isn't a woman who's willing to testify against her ex-husband, but one cornered and forced into telling the truth. Janelle rises, puts her hand on the Bible, and is sworn in. As she sits, the room's tension is doubled. Mrs. Brown, the prosecutor speaks. Were you aware of Mr. Brown's management of family finances? Janelle pauses. She looks at Kody, then at Christine. I didn't want to believe it. But yes. I saw transfers. I asked questions. He always told me it was temporary, that the money was safe, but it wasn't. Kody springs up, his throat raw. Don't do this, Janelle. Don't you dare turn on me. Her voice quavers, but she doesn't flinch. You already turned on us, Kody. The jury sits forward. The judge regards her intently. Christine clenches her hands together in victory, and Robyn mutters under her breath, begging Janelle to cease. What happens when the wives who obeyed him blindly now testify against him, individually? The asking becomes more pointed. Janelle confesses she once believed Kody would manage Coyote Pass, split the land equally. But what she found was frightening. The deeds weren't split as agreed. Every single parcel, was weighted in Robyn's favor. Christine breathes sharply, as if the truth at last has breath. Meri stares blankly, and Robyn floods into tears. He was just trying to protect us. He wanted me and the kids to have security. But the prosecutor seizes on it. Security, or control. The words lie there suspended like a knife. Kody's cracks are no longer merely cracks, they're fractures, moving more rapidly than he is able to stem them. The defense flails. Kody's lawyer stands, attempting to spin the tale. He tries to explain that Kody was a father defending his children, a husband who was acting as he believed he should. His words are overpowered by the building tension. The testimony of the wives draws a picture of betrayal too sharp to dull. Next is the most incriminating evidence so far. The prosecutor produces a series of tape recordings. Kody's agitated voice, demanding funds shifted, accounts settled, property transferred into Robyn's name. The jury sits in stunned silence, the recordings ringing out in the courtroom, like specters from the past. Kody's face goes pale. His hands shake. Robyn covers her face with her hands, and weeps uncontrollably. Picture this. Seeing the empire you created, brick by brick, dismantled by your own mouth. That is what Kody is going through today. The judge declares a recess. The gavel thunders, but the echoes fail to sweep away the unspoken words. The gallery erupts with gossip. Journalists hurry to call their editors. Spectators shake their heads in incredulity. Kody slumps in his chair, staring at the floor. Christine sits tall, her expression firm. Janelle closes her eyes, whispering a prayer. Meri remains silent, but her gaze never leaves Kody. And Robyn clings to him, whispering, "We'll fix this, we'll find a way." But Kody doesn't answer. He can't, because deep down he knows the walls are closing in. And just as you think Kody has no secrets left to share, the next witness will show everyone otherwise. As the courtroom clears for recess, Christine glances over at Janelle. They exchange a look, not one of friendship, but of battle-worn solidarity. For years they battled in silence, torn apart by jealousy, favoritism and manipulation by Kody. Now for the first time ever, they're together. And that's when the cameras outside capture the moment. Two former wives, once discarded, walking shoulder to shoulder out of the courtroom, while Kody trails behind, shattered. The headlines blare in minutes. Kody betrayed by his wives. Courtroom implodes with explosive testimony. But what the public doesn't realize is that the most stunning testimony hasn't even hit the scene yet. Because Meri Brown is set to take the stand. And what she finds out will rock the courtroom to its foundation. The crowd streams back into the courtroom. The atmosphere is denser now, charged with the after effect of Christine's shock bomb and Janelle's incriminating testimony. Journalists whisper on their phones. Jurors sit rigid, and the audience stiffens in anticipation of more revelation. Behind the defense table, Kody's shoulders fall farther than ever, his lips pursed hard, eyes jerking frantically toward the door. He knows who's up next. He knows this could be the moment his final defense crumbles. Because the next witness isn't Janelle, and isn't Christine. It's the one woman he believed would never betray him. Meri. The judge summons Meri Brown to the stand. She stands slowly, her movements slow, almost ritualistic. Her expression is blank, but her eyes are dark, weighed down by years of silence. As she lays her hand upon the Bible and promises to tell the truth, the gallery leans forward. Even Robyn glances up from her tissues, her eyes wide, as if silently begging, "Don't do this, Meri, please." The lawyer starts, "Mrs. Brown, how long did you marry the defendant?" Meri's voice is low and even. "More than 30 years. I was his first wife. The one who loved him before anyone else." The room falls silent. Even Kody looks up, his expression relaxing, for a second. But then Meri goes on, "And I was also the first one he cheated on." Gasps spread throughout the room. Christine's head jerks round. Janelle sits gripping her hands. Robyn shakes her head violently, her voice barely audible. "No, no, not true." But Meri is not going to stop. If you believe Meri is going to hold back, think again. Because her testimony isn't only about betrayal, it's about revenge. Years in the making. The attorney presses on. "Mrs. Brown, what do you mean by betrayal?" Meri takes a deep breath, her voice shaking now, but hot. In 2014, Kody divorced me, legally. He said it so that he could marry Robyn and adopt her children. But that wasn't the complete truth. That divorce was about money, about control. He wanted to erase me, erase my rights, erase my place in the family. Kody pounds his palm onto the table. That's not true. I was telling you the truth, Meri. You knew why I did what I did. Her gaze finally settles on him, hot. No, Kody, you said what you wanted to say. But what you did in secret. She opens her folder, pulling out a pile of documents, speaks otherwise. She extracts a sheaf of papers, property transfers, bank contracts, emails. The prosecutor holds them up for the jury. These are documents indicating that following the legal divorce, Mr. Brown moved assets originally under his and Meri's name, solely into Robyn's name. Mrs. Brown, did you agree to this? Meri shakes her head. Never. I learned years later. He got me to sign documents. I didn't know what they were. He said it was just housekeeping. It was betrayal. In the deepest sense, what does it do to you? When the woman who stood by you the longest, the one who gave you her loyalty scandal after scandal, suddenly determines she's had enough of covering for you. That's what Kody is dealing with now. The gallery murmurs more loudly. The jury's faces stiffen. The judge leans forward, intrigued. Robyn starts sobbing more, hanging on to Kody's arm, but he brushes her off, his face scarlet. Meri goes on, her voice growing louder now. I remained silent because I believed that silence would save the family, but silence only empowered him. And when I watched Christine walk away, when I watched Janelle get free, I understood. Silence is what destroyed us. So today, I am done being silent. The courtroom erupts once more. The gavel rings, but this time the sound doesn't quite cover up the crack in Kody's facade. For the first time, his eyes shine, whether it's anger or fear or something more. No one can tell. The instant Meri unleashes the floodgates, the courtroom is changed. It's not so much about one betrayal, but decades of deceit unraveling. The defense rises, desperate. Mrs. Brown, isn't it true? You've had personal grievances against Mr. Brown for years. Isn't this testimony motivated by jealousy? Resentment? Meri turns her head slowly, her lips curling into something between a laugh and a snarl. Jealousy? You think this is about jealousy? This is about theft, about lies, about being discarded like trash while he played favorites. I loved that man. I gave him my life, and he threw it away. Her words hang in the air like a blade. Christine shifts, tears in her eyes. Janelle nods faintly, almost in solidarity. Robyn sobs uncontrollably, muttering, "This isn't fair. This isn't fair." And Kody? He sits frozen, hands trembling, eyes fixed on the floor. Picture a man once worshipped by 4 wives, now watching them unite against him in open court. That's the downfall we're witnessing. The prosecutor's voice sharpens. Mrs. Brown, are you saying the defendant deliberately misled you and transferred assets without your consent? Yes, Meri replies firmly. And I have the proof. The documents pass through the jury's hands. Their faces grow more severe with each page. It's a paper trail of betrayal, a map of deception. For the first time, the courtroom feels less like a trial, and more like a funeral. The funeral of Kody Brown's empire. And yet, even with 3 wives against him, Kody still believes he can fight back. But the next witness will prove he's already lost. The judge calls for calm. The testimony concludes. Meri steps down, her posture tall, her steps slow but unshaken. For the first time in years, she looks free. The jury watches her every movement. The spectators erupt as she passes, some in shock, some in admiration. Christine squeezes her hand briefly. Janelle nods in quiet respect. Robyn, however, turns away, unable to look. And Kody, he doesn't move, doesn't speak. He just sits there, his empire collapsing piece by piece, wife by wife. But what no one realizes is that the trial is about to take its darkest turn yet. Because next, Robyn will be called to the stand. And while Christine, Janelle and Meri came prepared with their accusations, Robyn's testimony will be something no one, not even Kody, is ready for. The gavel slams. We'll reconvene after lunch. The crowd rises, the air still crackling with electricity. Reporters sprint out to file updates. And in the center of it all, Kody Brown sits alone, his hands pressed to his face, knowing the storm has only just begun. The courtroom doors open again, and every camera swings toward them. The hush is immediate, so sharp it feels like the entire building is holding its breath. The tension is unbearable, because this isn't just another witness. This isn't just another wife. This is Robyn Brown. For years, fans called her the favorite, the one Kody gave his heart to, the one who won the marriage license, the house, and the promise of security, while the others were left behind. But now the very woman Kody once called his soulmate is about to take the stand. And the question on everyone's mind is this: will Robyn finally protect Kody? Or will she betray him like the rest? The judge calls her name, and Robyn rises slowly from the defense table. She looks pale, shaken, her hands tremble as she walks to the witness stand. Kody whispers something, urgent and desperate, but she doesn't look at him. For the first time, there's distance between them, not physical, but emotional. As she takes the oath, a single tear slips down her cheek. The jury leans forward. Reporters scramble to capture every second. Even Christine and Janelle, who had expected Robyn to defend him, watch in stunned silence. The attorney begins gently. Mrs. Brown, you are currently the only legal wife of the defendant, correct? Robyn nods. Yes. And how long have you been married to him? Since 2014. And in those years, were you aware of the financial decisions, the property transfers, the business dealings that your husband was involved in? Robyn hesitates. She glances at Kody, his face stern, pleading, almost commanding. But then she looks back at the attorney, her lips trembling. Yes, I knew. The entire courtroom gasps. Even Christine's jaw drops. Meri whispers to herself, oh my God. Kody slams his fist against the table. Robyn, stop. Don't you dare. The judge silences him with the gavel. And Robyn, she continues, this is the moment no one saw coming. The woman who once defended Kody with every breath is about to reveal the secrets he never thought she'd share. Her voice cracks. At first I believed him. He told me everything he did. The divorce from Meri, the transfers, the loans, were for the good of the family. He said it was the only way to protect us. I wanted to trust him. I needed to trust him. She swallows hard. But then I saw the accounts, the hidden money, the way he moved assets into my name, without telling me what they really were. He said it was just paperwork. But it wasn't paperwork. It was fraud. The jury stiffens. The prosecutor steps closer. Mrs. Brown, are you saying you knowingly signed documents that involved fraudulent transfers? Her tears fall harder now. Yes, because I trusted him, because I thought he loved me, but he lied to me, just like he lied to them. She gestures toward Christine, Janelle, and Meri, who all stare at her in disbelief. For the first time, all four sister wives share the same look. Betrayal. Kody, red-faced and shaking, spits out, you're weak, Robyn, weak. You were supposed to stand with me. She finally looks at him, her eyes blazing through the tears. No, Kody, I was supposed to stand with the truth. Imagine the one person you thought would save you, the one you trusted above all, turning against you in front of the world. That's what just happened to Kody Brown. The prosecutor presses harder now. Mrs. Brown, did you ever benefit financially from these transfers? Robyn whispers, yes. We had homes, land, and accounts that were tied to my name, but it was never really mine. It was his way of keeping everything for himself, while making it look like I was the beneficiary. She sobs into her hands. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted a family. I just wanted love. The room is silent, heavy with the weight of her words. Even Christine looks moved, not forgiving, but understanding. Janelle exhales slowly, as if realizing the final piece of the puzzle has been placed. And Meri just stares at Kody, her face a mask of quiet fury. At this point, the jury isn't just listening. They're judging, weighing every word as if Kody's fate is already sealed. The defense attorney jumps in, desperate. Mrs. Brown, isn't it true that you're only saying this to protect yourself, to save your own reputation? Robyn shakes her head fiercely. No, I'm saying this because it's the truth. Because I'm tired of living in his lies. For years, he told me I was special, that I was different from the others. But I wasn't different. I was just another pawn. Kody shouts again, his voice cracking, you were never a pawn. You were my wife. Her voice rises, sharp with pain. Then why did you make me sign everything? Why did you make me the shield for your corruption? You didn't protect me, Kody, you used me. The courtroom gasps again. Reporters type frantically. The judge pounds the gavel for silence. But it doesn't matter. The damage is done. This is the breaking point. Not just for the trial, but for the entire sister wives story. Because if even Robyn turns against Kody, who's left to stand by him? The prosecutor steps closer. Mrs. Brown, one final question. Do you believe your husband committed fraud? Robyn closes her eyes. Tears streak down her face. And then, with a trembling but steady voice, she says, yes. The silence that follows is absolute. No coughs, no whispers, no movement. Just the sound of Kody's empire crumbling in real time. The jury stares at him now, with eyes that no longer waver. Christine leans back in her seat, closing her eyes. Janelle folds her arms, satisfied. Meri watches Robyn, almost shocked at her bravery. And Kody, he is alone, more alone than he has ever been. The gavel strikes. The judge announces, this court will reconvene tomorrow morning. The crowd erupts as cameras flash, reporters rush and spectators shout. But above all the chaos, one truth echoes loudest of all. Kody Brown is finished. Retention booster line ending. But just when it seems like Kody has lost everything, one that no one, not even his wives, saw coming. The courtroom feels heavier than ever before, as if the very air has thickened with dread. Everyone knows today is the day. After weeks of testimony, betrayal and explosive revelations, the trial of Kody Brown is about to reach its end. The question is no longer whether he lied, cheated or manipulated. It's whether the judge and jury will hold him accountable for it all. And the most haunting thought of all, what if the verdict isn't what anyone expects? This isn't just about fraud. It isn't just about money. This is about broken family, destroyed trust, and decades of secrets finally dragged into the light. Today, justice will speak, and the world is waiting to hear its voice. The judge calls for silence. As the jury files back into the courtroom, every step echoes like a drumbeat. Christine clasps her hands tightly, her knuckles white. Janelle looks strong, but her lips tremble ever so slightly. Meri leans forward, her eyes sharp and unblinking. Robyn sits quietly, staring down at the table, her tear-streaked face pale as stone. And then there's Kody. His face is flushed, his jaw clenched. He scans the jury desperately, searching for even a flicker of sympathy, of loyalty. But the eyes staring back at him are cold, detached, unmoved. The jury foreman rises. The courtroom stills to the point of suffocation. On the charge of fraud we find the defendant, guilty. The words slice through the room like a blade. Gasps erupt. Reporters scramble. Christine buries her face in her hands, sobbing uncontrollably. Janelle exhales, her entire body trembling with relief. Meri lets out a quiet, broken laugh, half disbelief, half vindication. And Robyn, she doesn't move at all. She just stares blankly ahead, as if her soul has finally left her body. Kody slams both fists onto the table. No, this is wrong. You don't understand. I was protecting my family. I was protecting. The judge pounds the gavel, silencing him instantly. The moment has come. The powerful patriarch who once ruled his family is now facing the ultimate fall. The prosecutor steps forward. For sentencing arguments, they paint a brutal picture of Kody's manipulation, the years of deceit, and the emotional devastation inflicted on his wives and children. This is not just a case about money, the attorney says. It is a case about abuse of trust, about betrayal, and about justice, long denied. Kody's defense pleads desperately for leniency, claiming he acted out of love, that his intentions were pure. But no one in the room seems convinced anymore. Not after Christine's raw testimony, Janelle's revelations, Meri's heartbreak, and Robyn's ultimate betrayal. Finally the judge speaks. His voice is steady, deliberate. Mr. Brown, this court has listened to the evidence, the testimony, and the pain your actions have caused. You presented yourself as a man of faith and family, yet you treated both as tools for your own power. This cannot be ignored. Kody swallows hard, sweat glistening at his temples. The judge continued. Therefore, it is the sentence of this court that you serve 10 years in federal prison, with no possibility of parole for the first 5. The courtroom erupts. Christine lets out a cry of triumph through her tears. Janelle grips her hands together, whispering, "It's over." It's finally over. Meri turns her face away, not smiling, not gloating, just closing her eyes in quiet closure. Robyn breaks down completely, sobbing so loudly that bailiffs have to steady her. And Kody, his body collapses back into his chair, his face pale, his lips trembling as he whispers to no one in particular. 10 years, they can't do this to me. I'm Kody Brown. And just like that, the man who once commanded 4 wives, dozens of children, and an entire reality TV empire, is reduced to a broken figure in handcuffs. The bailiff approaches. Kody resists, shaking his head violently. No, Robyn, help me. Please, you're my wife. You're supposed to fight for me. But Robyn doesn't move. For the first time, she has nothing left to give him. The courtroom audience shouts, cheers, and gasps all at once. Cameras flash wildly. This isn't just a trial anymore. It's history in the making. The downfall of a man who once embodied polygamy on national television, now stripped of power, dignity, and freedom. The wives exchange glances. Christine, Janelle, and Meri share a look of silent solidarity. Even Robyn, though shattered, seems to understand the finality of what's just happened. They may never be sisters again, but in this moment, united against Kody's destruction, they are bound by truth. Every viewer watching at home knows it. This is the scene that will echo in Sister Wives history forever. As Kody is led out in handcuffs, the cameras zoom in on his face. It's not rage anymore. It's fear. The fear of a man who has lost control for the first time in his life. Christine whispers softly, almost to herself, "Justice." Outside the courthouse, fans, critics, and media swarm. Some cheer, others argue, but no one is silent. For years, viewers debated who was right, who was wrong, who deserved sympathy. Today the debate is over. Kody Brown has been sentenced. But the question that lingers is perhaps the most haunting of all: what happens next? The wives are free, but are they truly healed? The children are safe from Kody's control, but will the scars of betrayal ever fade? And Robyn, what will become of her, now that she has lost the man she sacrificed everything for? The story may have reached its climax, but its echoes will linger far longer than 10 years. The verdict is final, but the real story is only beginning. As the family faces life after Kody, the camera fades on the image of Kody being pushed through the courthouse doors, shackled in defeat. The world has its closure, the wives have their justice, and the viewers are left with one burning thought. If this could happen to Kody Brown, what other secrets still lie buried beneath the surface of Sister Wives? Because when one empire collapses, the truth it leaves behind can be even more dangerous.